Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's your girl Mary Jane. Please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. From the bottom of my heart, my peace, my peoples. I just want to thank everybody that watched my video. Share, like, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. R.I.P. Dick Gregory. Let's talk Game of Thrones. Season 7, Episode 6. What it was a good episode. You know, wasn't as good as the other episode, but it was a good episode. And we have the seven. You know, we got the Hound, we got Tormont, we got Barrack, and Barrack Dondarrion, and we have Gendrick, we have Jon Snow, and we have Thors of Myr, and they went on a suicide mission. Let me tell you, them going across the wall to go find a one of the armies of the dead, one of them dead walkers, to go find one of them and bring them back so Cersei could see. OMG, what it was crazy. So, you know, they're walking, you know, they're having conversations and everything. And you know, Jon Snow's talking to Tormund and telling Tormund that, you know, the queen wants him to bow the knee and he doesn't want to really bow the knee in so many words. And Tormund was like, you know, the king passed the wall. He had his pride and he never bowed the knee, and so many people died because of that. And so, you know, Jon Snow is thinking like, okay, maybe I should bow the knee. Maybe I am going to bow the knee, but he's in his own feelings about the situation. And so then, you know, Jon Snow, he ends up having a conversation with Jorah, and you know, he was telling Jorah about his father and all this other stuff, and Jorah was saying that, you know, I was embarrassment to my father, you know, I did my father wrong, I left shame on his name and all that other stuff. So, you know, Jon Snow was like, you know what, your father gave me this sword, I want to give it to you because it belongs to you and not to me. And, you know, Jorah was like, why would you give me your sword when it was Valyrian steel and it's supposed to kill the White Walkers? Why would you do that, Jon Snow? Are you on a suicide mission, Jon Snow? Do you want to die? Are you really that humble of a guy that you're going to give your Valyrian steel away? So Jorah, being the honorable man that he is, he declines to take it because his father wouldn't want him to have it because he brought great shame on the family. So Jon Snow gets to keep his sword. And you know, Jorah was like, you need that sword to pass on to your kids and your great grandkids because you're gonna live. Basically telling Jon Snow, you're not, this is not a suicide mission. We want to get back past the wall. So Jon Snow ends up talking to Dondarrion. He ends up talking to Dondarrion, and Dondarrion's like, you don't look nothing like your father. And Jon Snow, and then he also says, Barrack Dondarrion also says, you know what, maybe you take out your mother after your mother. So I guess there's a lot of hints going on that Jon Snow is actually not Robert Baratheon's son. So, you know, these guys are walking, you know, the Hound and Tormund are going back and forth. Tormund's talking about he wants to have babies with Brianna. He wants to have Bree. He wants to have little monster babies to take over the world. And Hound was like, oh, you must be talking about Brianna. I know her. I met her. Yes, you did meet her, the Hound. I think she beat you down. so they're actually having like camaraderie among each other, basically just talking because they don't know if they're actually going to be coming back from this mission. And Jon is already acting like he wants to be on a suicide mission, so who knows what's going to happen with the situation. And so we get to Sansa and we get to Arya, and you know, Arya, you know, tells Sansa, hey, I know the letter that you wrote, you know, for our brother to bow the knee, which got them killed and all this other stuff. And so Arya is like coming at Sansa like, you know, you're a traitor, you hurt our family, you are wrong. And like, Arya, don't you got other things to worry about? So then here goes Sansa, you know what, I had to do what I had to do. You know why? Because I'm the one that got the King of the North back. I'm the one got Winterfell back. You know, the Vale came and they fought for me. They fought for me, and me. And she was like, so don't you ever forget that, little girl. I'm like, yo, there's White Walkers. John's missing. You have, what's his name? Bran. That, where's he at? He's inside the tree. He's not talking. He's not getting information. It's just like he's watching a TV show in his head, and he's not sharing the episodes or what's going on with anybody. So we'll see what happens with that situation, if Bran is ever going to, talk to his sisters and let them know what's going on, let them know the enemy is right among them, which is, who? Littlefinger. So, Sansa and Arya, they have their little, argument again. At first, I thought when they first met up again that they were over their situation as a child, but it seems like, Arya's really stuck at that place when she was a child, and seeing Sansa, side with, King Joffrey, the monster. So, hey, it's going down. And too bad these sisters are bickering among each other. Even Cersei's not over there bickering. She's trying to be the queen of the seven kingdoms. But we got, Arya went through all this training, and she's wasting her time, going after her sister. But I guess she has to make sure Sansa is not, gonna trade Jon Snow or whatever. But and plus, Arya doesn't know what Sansa been through, and Sansa doesn't know what Arya been through. So them two and Bran need to all sit down and have a conversation together, because he can really tell who's telling the truth, because he's a three-eyed raven. Couldn't a three-eyed raven say, hey, listen, Daenerys, one of your dragons are gonna get killed? Couldn't Bran control one of the dragons and make sure that one of the dragons did not get killed? Like, oh. So moving on with that, so we get to, where we going at? So, Tyrion and, Dany, they start to have a conversation. They're talking. And so, Tyrion is taking light to what, Varys told him about helping the queen be a better queen and not killing people. And basically, he was just telling, you need to chill out. You need to not act off of emotions or act erratically, like you killing the Tyrells. You could have possibly killed the father, but you didn't have to kill the son. If you would have put them in jail and gave them some time, then they would have probably bowed the knee. But we don't want you to take over the kingdom like everyone else done. Being feared is not what you want, because people just fear you, and it's very brittle, because they hope that they'll be hoping that you are dead. And so, Danny's like, Daenerys is like, I don't care. I'm taking over. I'm doing what I got to do. And you have to be. Some people have to die. There's some casualties of war, but I do take what you're saying in. And Tyrion is like, we're gonna meet up with Cersei, and I know she's probably plotting something, because my sister's very evil, so she wouldn't just kill you, Daenerys, because Daenerys is like, what would your sister do to me when she had me? She would torture you and then kill you. Not just kill you, but she's gonna torture you in many, many, many different ways, because she's been tortured. So now she learned how to enjoy and how to torture people, because that's how Cersei get down, even though she's pregnant by Jaime right now. So, and motherhood has not changed Cersei at all, or losing her kids has just made her a more vile, evil person. So, so after they have their conversation, and they kind of like speak of Jon Snow, and Tyrion is like, I know you like Jon Snow, and and Sansa, and Daenerys is like, wow, he's too little for me. And she was like, oh, I don't mean it that way, Tyrion, Tyrion was, but she was like, I chose you to be my hand. I wouldn't choose anybody weak. And the only promises that I care about is the promises that you give me, Tyrion. I don't care what promises that Jaime made to you. I only care about your promise. And so, Daenerys is like, so what did he promise you, or what happened with the conversation? So Tyrion is like, well, I promised him that I wouldn't have you burn down all the kingdoms. I wouldn't have you burn down down the place. So basically they supposed to, Cersei and Daenerys don't supposed to have any tricks, but there's going to be tricks. There's going to be evilness, because Cersei's just not going to give in. If she knows that there's a way that she can possibly win, she's going to do it. But Tyrion wants Daenerys not to have any trickery in mind or anything, any plans behind, because she wants her to, if Cersei does something to come after Daenerys, which she will, then Daenerys has the right to burn down King's Landing and destroy everything, Tyrion says. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But we know Daenerys is missing that Mr. Jon Snow, because she's thinking about him. She wants her some Jon Snow. So then we get to Sansa. Sansa, she's talking to Littlefinger about the situation, about Arya bringing her the letter about but it's probably important that she did do that because Littlefinger is waiting for Sansa to come to her and and say, hey, Arya found this letter that I wrote, this raven that I wrote, and I think she's gonna use it against me. I'm not sure, so Littlefinger will be anticipating Sansa to come and talk to him, because if she doesn't, that makes him worry, and he'll have his eye up like that, like what's going on. So we'll see what happens with that situation. Um, mm-mm-mm. So anyway, she had to tell Littlefinger in so many words because maybe Sansa knows what Littlefinger is up to and knows that Littlefinger has planted this, or she's acting like she doesn't know because Sansa, she has a brain and she rules with her brain now. She doesn't act off her emotion as much as she used to, and she knows Littlefinger a lot. So I don't know if she totally trusts Littlefinger, but we'll see. So Littlefinger is telling, Sansa that, Brienne is here. She's supposed to protect you and your sister. And if one is going to go against the other one, she'll stop it, all this other stuff. So he's putting that information in Sansa's head. And so the first thing Sansa does, Sansa gets a raven to go to see Cersei Lannister. And she's not going because she's not going to be tricked. And she's going nowhere near the Lannisters because she does not want to be captured again. And she knows Cersei only wants to harm her in all shapes or form. So moving on from that, she sends Brianna to go to the war, and Brienne was like, "Yo, listen, I don't know why you trust Littlefinger. I don't want to leave you here alone with Littlefinger because he's no good. I don't know why you want to stay. Let me leave my hand, my mate with you to make sure that you're okay." Um, so, Sansa was like, I don't need anybody to look after me. I'm good. I'm fine. I didn't get here I got here by myself, and I'm protecting. This is the safest place for me. If they want to come and get me, they have to come to Winterfell and get me. And so Brienne is like, yo, come on. Like, you really like trusting Littlefinger? You know he has something to do with all the shit that happened to you and your family. So, but I think, I'm hoping that, Sansa is calculating the situation, and she's gonna make sure that she's playing the game with Littlefinger. Hopefully she's able to get through to Arya to let Arya know that she's not going to betray their family and this is a trick or whatever. Or will Bran come out the tree and get in somebody's head and control somebody's mind to tell them something, or control Littlefinger. So we'll see what happens with that situation. So then after that, Bran, she was like, okay, you want me to leave, you want me to go, I'll go to King's Landing. And Sansa's like, Jamie was good to you last time, right? So he'll be good to you this time. Like, come on. But you know what? I think, Sansa's playing the game. But hopefully she's playing the game well, because she did learn from Cersei. She did learn from Littlefinger the politics of the game. Because she's not good at battle. She can't battle, but she's trying to battle of the brains. So we get back to the guys that are on a suicide mission that's past the wall, and they find a bunch of wildlings. I'm not wildlings. They find a bunch of walkers, the army of the dead, and they start to but before then they see a bear, and then this bear come out, and Gendry's like, the bear has blue eyes, and then the bear comes, one of the guys is trying to run away, and the bear kills him, totally smashed him. And then the bear got on top of Thor of Myr, got on top of him and scratched him up and injured him. Who came and saved him? I think Beric Dondarrion saved him, or it was Jon Snow that saved him. I think it was Beric Dondarrion, or was it Tormund? One of them saved his life. It wasn't the Hound, because the Hound got scared for a minute because he's never seen like animals like this or the dead like this, and he was just shocked when he seen the bear attack Thoros of Myr. And so he was just stud faced. So I think it was Tormund. it was either Tormund or Beric Dondarris that end up saving, making sure that Thoros of Myr didn't get killed all the way. And so now he's kind of weak or whatever, and so he's still drinking his wine. And him and Jorah has conversation talk. Jorah talks about how wonderful you are, how great of a fighter you was. How did you get through all them battles? And he was like, I was drunk half the time. And so then so Thoros of Myr, he's injured, but he brung Don Darien back to life many of times. So we'll see what happens. And so so then they're running or whatever. They end up killing the bear, and so now they're all together. And then they come upon some White Walkers, or the army of the dead. And they're beating or they beat all the soldiers, the army of the dead soldiers, but except for one. And so then the Hound tries to put his hand on top of his mouth, and then the walkers started yelling and screaming, which called all the other walkers to come. And so now they sensed that, so they finally covered his mouth, tied him up. They sent Gendrick running because he's the fastest, and they take his hammer. They tell him run. Gendrick's going. Gendrick is running so fast, he's gone. I mean, he is up that hill. He's gone. And he's running, and he's gonna make it to the wall. And he finally makes it to the wall. And then Sir Davos is there, and he's like, send the raven to Daenerys so Daenerys can get there. Gendry ran really fast and really quick, and he passed out in front of the door. So it was crazy, but it was so nice to see Beric Dondarrion light his sword on fire. That was cool. That was hot. So then we get to Dany. Dany knows that Jon Snow's in danger, so she's flying. She's getting there. She got her dragons. Tyrion's trying to talk her out of it. Tyrion's like, you're gonna get killed. You almost got killed last time. This just ain't worth it. Just do nothing. And Daenerys is like, I did nothing before. I'm not gonna do nothing now because my future dragon baby daddy might get killed. So she's going to go get her man. She's going to go save her man. Everybody else she's cool with. Jorah, she's cool with. But she has lost Jorah so many times. But she wants that Jon Snow. She wants the King of the North. And so, then, the seven guys that are battling, the seven guys on a suicide mission to go get a White Walker to bring to Cersei. So, Gendrick, he's gone. Jon Snow's still there. Thoros of Myr, he's injured really bad. He's soon going to die. And you have Tormund, he's still there. The Hound's still there. And Beric Dondarris, he's still there. So now they have the White Walker, and they're trying to get back. But then all of a sudden, all of the White Walkers show up. All of them show up. And they're running past the water or whatever. They're running past this water, this brick of ice, and then their feet, it starts to crack. So then they end up in like the middle, surrounded by ocean, like a rock in the middle, surrounded by ocean, high rock. And so all the walkers, thousands and thousands of them, surrounded them, this side, that side, and everything. It's just crazy. It's so many walkers. And then you got the White Walkers, the kings, whatever. They're sitting up on top of the hill with their horses and everything, with their white pale skin. I got one question. Why do the White Walkers, I mean the army of the dead people, have sneakers on? Why do they have sneakers on? Why do they have shoes on? And so they're sitting there. They end up burning Thoros of Myr body, and they burnt his body and everything, so he won't turn into so he won't turn into a walker. And so then after that, they're all sitting there waiting. And then now the Hound starts to throw rocks, and he hits one of the walkers, one of the dead walkers, in the head. And I thought that was funny. And then after that, he threw another rock, and it missed, and it hit the ice. So now the walkers know that the ice is not cracked anymore, because once Jon Snow and the other guys cross, to that big rock, to that like island in the water, the the army of the dead was falling inside the water, so they had stopped and they just surrounded them. I mean, just surrounded thousands. There's no way that they could have escaped. They were supposed to die, really. And so now the walkers know that the ice is frozen and they're running and they're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting. I mean, and then they end up killing one more guy, but he was just a casualty of war. And then, Torment, he almost got killed. And if it wasn't for, they was dragging him in the water, he was like, help me, help me. If it wasn't for the hound, he would have been dead. And so they're fighting, and Jon Snow's looking around, and Jon Snow's just looking, and they keep fighting, and they keep fighting, and then but before then, Jon Snow and um Don Darien were talking. It was like, oh, look on the hill, look at the White Walkers, and he was saying that he thinks it's his mission to kill the king of the White Walkers. And then, Jon Snow was like, no, I want to kill the king of the White Walkers. And so automatically, it seems like Jon Snow thinks that this is his mission to do that. And so then all of a sudden we see fire. Fire's everywhere. Fire's all over the place. We see the dragons, and Daenerys is riding. Well, she had a banging outfit on too. Her outfit was on point. And, she's riding with the dragons. She's dragons shooting out fire, just killing these I mean, just killing them in the thousands, because, Jon Snow, Tormund, Dondarrius, and Gendrick, Jon Snow, and Jorah was not Gendrick, because Gendrick gave them the message. Where, like, when they was looking around, they just felt death. They just knew death was coming to them. There was no way that they was gonna be able to kill all these walkers. And so Daenerys comes and she saves the day. They all get on the horse. I mean, they all get on the dragon. And Jon Snow is just keep fighting, whatever. And they're calling Jon Snow. He almost takes Daenerys' hand. But all of a sudden, Jon Snow is like, oh, no, I want to fight. My baby mama's here. I want to show her that, no, she can't save me. I got to save myself. I don't know what's going on in Jon's head. He's like unraveling. And so he keeps fighting these White Walkers. He's keep fighting them. All the other guys, Torment, Dondarrius, and Jorah and the Hound are on the dragon with Daenerys, and they're calling Jon, and Jon is ignoring them. He's just fighting to the doom. It seems like Jon wanted to get to the king of the White Walkers, and feeling like if he kills him, he can kill all the White Walkers. So basically, that's what Dondarrius said to Jon Snow. And so they're calling him, and he's not listening. He's just fighting. And then, it's like Jon was kind of like on a suicide mission at first, and then it seems like he really wanted to die. And he sees Daenerys there. I don't know, him seeing Daenerys made him have more power, gave him another oomph, like I can really do this, knowing that it's not a smart idea to stay any longer where they was, because there was thousands and thousands and thousands of these dead people. The walkers walking around. They don't need no shoes. They don't need no coats. They don't need nothing, So, so then the king of the White Walkers, he has a spear. It looks like it's built out of ice, and it's sharp and it's white, and he throws it at the dragon. He kills one, and the dragon goes into the water. And Jon Snow is even more upset. He's even more mad, and he just wants to do something now. He keeps going, and Daenerys is like, I don't want to leave you, because I know you're going to die. And Daenerys is looking around. She sees all these freaking walkers. And she like, okay, he was telling the truth. So now I know there's nothing else I could do but believe him and roll with him, basically. But Jon Snow won't. Jon Snow's telling him to leave. Go. Like, Jon, you want to die? Like, you already died and came back. The red lady's not there. Like, people got to keep saving you. Does Jon Snow feel inferior because he was fighting among, like, people that have been fighting longer than him? So I don't know if that was the case, or he really wanted to kill one of the White Walkers, or when they killed the dragon, he felt like it was also his child being killed, because he felt connected, because Jon Snow is a Targaryen. Sooner or later he's gonna find us. Whenever Samuel Tally gets there, it seems like he's the only one taking a long time to travel. And as soon as Bran get his ass out the tree, and go get into his brother's head and show Jon Snow some visions. He could have showed Jon Snow this was gonna happen, but he didn't. So then Daenerys, she bounces, she's leaving with her other dragon. So one dragon is killed. That dragon is going to become a white walker, a white walker because his eyes turn blue. So are they going to be able, is that dragon going to shoot fire or fire and ice? What is that dragon going to shoot? And it is the white walker is going to be able to ride him. And are they going to be able to fly over the wall even quick enough because they have a dragon? So, they got the dragon. They have, the giants. They have 3 giants and plenty of soldiers. So now can that dragon fly across the wall now? Because the wall doesn't go up to the sky. And the magic wall, the magic in this wall, if you go over it and nowhere near the wall, can't you get away? So we'll see what happens with that situation. And Jon Snow is fighting to the doom. He's fighting. Then he falls into the water where the dragon fell in, or where, the hound made the hole with the hammer. And he goes into the water. Then he finally climbs out the water. I guess the walkers thought he was dead because they was walking away. Then they turn around. They smell blood. They seen Jon Snow. And Jon Snow is like, I'm going to fight. Yeah, you crazy motherfucker. People got to keep saving you, Jon. I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting sick of this. So anyways, so after that, we get to see Benji. Go Benji. Go Benji. We haven't seen Benji for a long time. Benji is half walker, half human. He comes with this thing swarming it around with fire inside, just killing the walkers with a black horse. He gives the horse to Jon. Jon is like, come with me, Benji. Benji was like, there's not enough time, sucker. And so Jon Snow jumps on the horse and he riding towards the wall. Daenerys and Jorah is waiting for Jon Snow to appear, which he will soon. Jon Snow appears. They get on the boat to go back to where they're going. The Hound has one of the walkers, and they say they part ways. Jon Snow wakes up. Daenerys is over him, like she's over her husband, making sure he's all right, and watching him as he sleep. Creepy. So Jon Snow tells her that he's gonna bow the knee and all this other stuff, and he's sorry for the dragon. He's sorry for everything. They're holding hands. Sooner or later, something's gonna happen between them. We'll see. Tyrion knows he's on the way. Jorah knows he's on the way. I wonder how is Sansa and Arya gonna feel when Jon Snow gets it on or starts to be with, Daenerys. But also, you remember Tyrion was telling, Daenerys that she needs the heir. She needs to pass on her everything that she has to an heir to somebody else, because if she dies, everything dies with it. And she was like, I don't want to hear about that stuff. So is that like a foreshadowing that Dany's gonna die, or is that a foreshadowing that Jon Snow and maybe his sister might inherit things, or when Grey Worm and his girlfriend inherit whatever the queen has when she dies, Daenerys. So we'll see who's going to be next in line. But Jon Snow is the rightful heir, I guess, because he's Targaryen. And then also Gendry, since he is a Baratheon. So we'll see what happens with that situation. And so they got the White Walk has got a dragon. So I think it's gonna move fast and quick. So is Jon Snow gonna ride a dragon this season or not? We'll see. So we get back to Sansa and Arya over here in middle school land fighting. So what's her name? Sansa. She's in Arya's room looking for stuff. She finds the Frey face and another face. And, Arya comes in, is like, what are you doing? What are you looking for? Arya tells Sansa, hey, listen, I was training in Bravos with the many-faced god because I wanted to be a many-faced god while you was over here with the queen. And you was a queen or whatever. You was with Joffrey celebrating. You see our father got killed and all this other stuff. And you were standing there next to Joffrey. And so, Sansa was like, so you was there? She was like, yeah, I was there. And then Sansa was like, why you didn't do anything to help? I couldn't. I just went to go train. So then, Arya is just telling Sansa, like, I trained to tell if people are lying or not. And, there's consequences if I find out you're lying. And there's consequences if I cannot pick up on that you're lying. So then, Arya going towards Sansa with a knife. You're thinking that she's going to do something to Sansa, but she doesn't. She turns the knife around and gives it to Sansa. Sansa's like, ah, oh, what a relief. So are they going to have some type of coming together, or is that really Arya? Does somebody have on Arya's face? What is going on? Because all the training that Arya went through and all the things that she's seen, but she also was told that her sister Sansa betrayed the family, because remember she killed the people at the play and all this other stuff. So we'll see if they actually running game on Littlefinger, and see if Littlefinger's gonna be have his feet put to the flame. So we'll see what happens with that situation, and we'll see if they ever get the White Walker, one of the Walkers, to Cersei and show the world, show everybody the White Walker and all that other good stuff. So, anyways, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. So, tell me your thoughts on the situation. What do you think about Arya and Sansa? Do you think they're pulling a fast one over on, Littlefinger, or Littlefinger's actually putting a fast one over them? So what about you think about Bree? You think Bree is going to slow pedal her way to King's Landing, or she's going to kind of stick around to protect? And Littlefinger knows that, and she's gonna come in to see if one of the Stark sisters are in danger. So we'll see with that. Will she disobey, Sansa, and would Jon Snow ever get back to Winterfell? And will Bran ever tell people what's going on, or would he ever use his mind to, control other people's mind or get into their head? Because maybe you think Bran is easier for Bran to get into Arya's head and talk to Arya. So we'll see what happens with that situation, and then what's gonna happen between Jon Snow and Daenerys. Are they gonna get it on? And is Cersei gonna plan a trap for Daenerys? Of course. So we'll see what happens, and what is the dragon gonna do. So peace. I'm out. Tell me what you think, or what are your predictions. I'm out. Peace.